Today we're talking about Mixland's new plugin called Tilt. So if you guys want to know what this plugin is all about, stick around after this introduction. Welcome everybody, I'm Dan Spencer and I am the Audio Sorcerer. So this is the channel where I teach you how to perfect your audio recording, mixing, and mastering skills. So before we get to the video, make sure you guys smash that like button. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. So without further ado, today we're talking about Mixland's Tilt. So Mixland actually was nice enough to send me this plugin, and I just want to let you know that all of the opinions in this video are mine, so I just want to get that out of the way first. So the question that we have to answer first is, what actually is tilt? Well, a tilt is essentially a EQ that has tube saturation built in. So it's not a EQ that has a ton of parameters to it. It is more niche to what it does, and we'll go over that here in a second. So this is actually the press release here. So let me scroll down. So basically, it is a passive tilt shelving equalizer with an adjustable vacuum tube output stage. The curves and tube circuitry were modeled meticulously to provide a delicious and usable sound. So that sounds good. So the EQ section features 8 different frequency selections, linkable bands per the traditional tilt format, and they could be unlinked for extra shelving flexibility. The user's EQ moves feed directly into the tube circuit and will influence the amount of drive and harmonic saturation that will be heard. Additionally, the user can control the amount of tube saturation using the grit parameter, and the effect ranges from subtle warmth to a sizzly clipping extravaganza depending on the amount chosen by the user. So essentially you got a low shelf, a high shelf, frequency adjustments for each of those, and then an overall saturation adjustment. Okay, so that's basically what this plugin all has in it. So in this video, what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through the user interface, show you how it works. Then we're going to listen to it on a overall drum mix, and then I'm going to let you hear what each of the parameters does. And hopefully that's going to give you a really good idea what this plugin does as a whole. And then hopefully that'll let you know if you want to add this to your plugin collection or not. And if you do, I have a link in the description below where you can go purchase it. And since you guys are watching this video, I'm assuming you guys might like Mixland products, so definitely check out my video popping up in the top right corner of Mixland's rubber band compressor after this video. And with that being said, let's dive into this video further and let's look at the user interface of the Mixland Tilt. Alright, so here we are in Pro Tools and I have the Mixland Tilt open. I'm just going to quickly go over the user interface here because it's real simple and there's not a lot of knobs on it. So we'll start in the top left corner here. So this here is the actual frequency control for the low shelf. So you can do 20 Hertz, 60 Hertz, 100 Hertz, or 200 Hertz. This is a picture of the tubes here, which will start kind of lighting up when they're actually engaging. And then this is the low level here. So if you want to reduce the low level, of course, you turn it down. If you want to increase it, you turn it up. We'll go over to the right side here. So for the high shelf here, you have 1 kilohertz, 8 kilohertz, 16 kilohertz, and 40 kilohertz, which is not really audible, but you actually will hear stuff there regarding it when we mess around with it. Same concept with the tubes here. And then here is your level control for the high shelf. So in the middle here, we have this cool picture of the tilt here, and you'll see that as we gradually change these here, the tilts shift. So that's kind of cool. You know, that's a little kind of gimmicky thing, but I enjoy those little features. so going down to the grit fader here. So the more we turn up this fader here, the more the tube saturation is going to be engaged. And you can see it's starting to light up here. So that's how you add some more tube saturation to the sound. And the link button down here, as mentioned earlier, is engaged by default. So as I turn up the low, it turns down the high. And if I turn down the low, it turns up the high. So this is going to be more if you want to create, you know, some sort of, I guess you can say, special effects sound or lo-fi sound. This is not for if you want to do some, specific EQing of a specific shelf. Okay. So with that being said, let's actually listen to what this sounds like on a drum bus, and we'll listen to specific parameters so you can see what they do. All right, so let's give it a listen. All right, cool. So I kind of left it here right now where if I was going to just kind of do an overall kind of mix of this drum bus here, this is probably kind of where I would leave it at here. Adding just a little bit of grit in halfway up, a little bit of a low end boost at 200 hertz. And then I did a high shelf at 8 kilohertz with just a little bit. So this is kind of treating this as just, really not doing anything really special to the drum bus, is trying to kind of enhance it using this plugin. So, but as you heard, we can do some kind of lo-fi stuff with it. And let me actually do that again. Let me play it here and we'll lo-fi it. So let's give it a listen. All right, cool. So if you want to lo-fi a sound, that's, an easy way to do it there. We can obviously, boost up the lows and, cut down the highs, and then also increasing the grit sound makes it more trashy sounding. So that gets that nice lo-fi sound in there. Okay. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you with the Mixland Tilt plugin. So that concludes the screen recording portion of this video. So now let me give you my final thoughts on this plugin. All right, so Mixland Tilt. Is this a good plugin or not? Should you buy this plugin or not? Do you even need this plugin? Those are valid questions that we need to answer now, and we'll start with, is this a good plugin? And the answer is definitely yes. The tubes in this plugin definitely make this EQ stand out. Now, even though it has just a low shelf and a high shelf, don't let that, defer you away from getting this. This plugin definitely sounds very good and has a good purpose for it. Now, I do think it is genre-based. I think it is more geared towards beat-based genres, things like pop music, EDM, hip-hop, and stuff like that. Now, I do think it will sound good on organic music. Now, the drums that we use in this tutorial were fake drums, but they had kind of a reality to them, we'll say. And I think if you use the same settings that I use in this tutorial on a real drum kit on the drum bus, so that is 200 hertz on the low shelf, and 8 kilohertz on the high shelf, and then you make your adjustments to your liking, I think you're going to get a really good sound on your drum bus with those settings. And I think you'll be very happy with it because, you know, your other EQ probably doesn't have this kind of tube saturation in it. So you're gonna get something a little extra from this plugin. So I definitely recommend it for that, okay? So do you need this plugin? Well, you know, if you guys are looking to do some lo-fi stuff, I think it's very good for that. And then of course, like enhancing sounds, like I just mentioned a second ago, it's very good for that also. So if you guys don't have anything in your plugin arsenal, you know, that can do that, then this plugin's great. And the price I think is only $29. So it's pretty cheap. So it's definitely worth looking into, okay? So yeah, this is a great plugin. So if you guys are interested in it, I have a link in the description below where you guys can go purchase it. And if you guys end up liking this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe so I'm making this content for you, and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. And if you guys enjoyed this video, why don't you guys check out my first ever video that I did, which is on one of my favorite EQs, which is the Slate Infinity EQ. And with that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later, and peace out.